I'm pretty excited that there's now a hotel for homeless dogs instead of the New England Humane Society, which created itself in a whole new idea of what to do for dogs looking for homes. Of course, I think it's also adorable. There are little kittens poking out of the website as well. Susan Joseph is the executive director of the 5-Star Hotel for Homeless Dogs. And Susan, I think it is wonderful that you have sort of turned sheltering on its ear and made a shelter a happy, welcoming place for the dogs and for the humans. Do you think it's because there are fewer dogs coming into shelters, so you have a moment to take a deep breath and make it a more positive experience for everyone?
To be very honest, I honestly wish I could tell you that, yes, that was the absolute case. But unfortunately, it's absolutely not the case. And just when we thought we were making progress, it was revealed that 2021 was one of the hardest hit years for high kill shelters in our country. So I know it was really disheartening. I feel like there's so many of us that are working so hard that I really hoped we were making better progress than we are. But no, it's endless. I wish I could say it was because I had a little bit more time to pause. I think it was just that it's a vision and a dream that I had had for so long that I was able to think about it for a while and really know what I wanted to do. And that was kind of how it became the hotel.
So COVID gave you a chance to take a deep breath and think about it. But in the high kill shelters that you draw from, and you'll tell us where they are, but I'm guessing they would be in the more impoverished areas in the South, things were horrible because the shelters were closed. So there was no chance to move the dogs, or much less adopt them out. And there's not much adoption in a poor area. Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, so we had been a nonprofit organization saving dogs for about 10 years prior to the facility opening. So we had been planning for about 5 years to open a facility. The struggle we had with COVID was that it was as soon as we started construction, COVID hit. So the world around us kind of shut down, especially in a state like Rhode Island where it's a little bit more conservative with those things. So it ended up being that we kind of just had to keep construction limited to like 3 of us because a lot of people weren't working and things like that. So that was where we got hit with COVID. So we really opened about a year and a half ago now. So we kind of passed the worst window of COVID. And we stayed pretty steady throughout just with the foster base that we had in place prior to the facility.
And that's why you were able to survive, if you will, because you were foster-based. So people were always taking the dogs and the cats into their own homes in preparation to then adopt them out. You didn't have to worry about a facility being shut and people not being allowed to go in.
Yeah, we did not. And being honest, we have one of the things that we're very blessed with is we have a fantastic team, and some of our fosters have just been with us for years and years. And even at times when it's not convenient for them or when they really can't take it on, they open their doors anyway because they all know the reality of the situation that we're in. So we still rely on our foster-based network. For example, we just had to get a mom and 10 puppies out of a local shelter. It was not a good situation, and we needed to get them out in like a matter of hours. We got the call and we wanted them out. And one of our fosters who has been with us for probably 8+ years, stepped up and said, listen, she can have my whole lower level. Like, we'll make it happen.
Gosh. I mean, so I saw that on your Twitter or Facebook or something, and I thought, God, a mother and a whole litter of babies, and the mom is darling and will probably get adopted easily as well. But it's an 8-week commitment. So you have this wonderful hotel for homeless dogs that's much more friendly and has glass walls instead of metal cages.
No chain link, yeah.
No chain link, which is pretty marvelous. But you have people that are willing to make that amount of time and energy commitment to take an entire litter of puppies. When you say a local shelter, you mean local in Rhode Island, not one that got transported from far off?
I mean local in Rhode Island, which I know it's odd because we think that there's no need here, and we're very blessed that for the most part there isn't. But the reality of it is there still are people here in Rhode Island who don't do the right thing either. And this mom, she's in tough shape. She's probably not going to be the easiest placement. She's covered in scars. She doesn't love other dogs. She screamed the entire ride from the shelter to her foster home with panic and fear. And again, I'm lucky. This foster has been with us for many, many years, and she's very versed. She knows how to play the role. She knows how to give the mom space and build trust. So even as nice as the hotel isn't suited for this mom and baby.
Right.
You know, they need to be in a home. And you know, we know enough to know when we need additional help. And with this particular case, we needed additional help. And I'm very lucky to be surrounded by people who, and they have their own stories, right? But people who step up to the plate continuously to bail us out, essentially, so that we can continue to do what we do.
What I always say about situations where there's somebody running a shelter or a rescue, particularly one heavily relying on fosters, is that the inspiration, I believe, really does come from the head. I do believe that you, as the director, inspire and enable those people to do these great acts of generosity, because there has to be something in the leadership that gives everyone a sense that things are moving forward, that there is progress, and that they matter, that the people matter just as much as every animal matters. It's funny because the litter I was referring to it said a hound mix, but the mom was only 40 pounds and she had kind of Doberman-like markings, and all the babies looked the same as her.
Yeah.
And I mean, was that also a Rhode Island-based litter?
Nope. So that mom is the love of my life. She is. They're both amazing.
Her. Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you, she is as perfect as she looks. She is the funniest. She's a little gem. But no, she actually came from a shelter in Van Buren, Arkansas.
Oh my Lord. So what these relationships, Susan, how do you form them? I mean, you know, we always think, okay, the worst, poorest states in these regards are Alabama and Mississippi. And now we hear Arkansas, which is another state with huge challenges of people that don't have access to medical care or spay neuter, or don't have the money for it, or don't know it's important. I mean, whole states where there's just dogs running loose.
It's bad. I mean, I saw a post. I mean, and it's daily, and you know, I keep the posts to myself. I don't share them with others in the room. But you know, I mean, there's posts hourly of dogs in Arkansas just being hit by cars and left on the side of the road.
Oh, Susan!
It's brutal. It's brutal. Litters of puppies that they just throw in a storage bin and they just leave it at the end of a dead end road. It's Arkansas is as bad as you can envision. It's you know, all the states have their things, right? So like Georgia, we used to see a lot more bait dogs, large pit bulls that were, you know, beaten and chained outside. And so every state kind of has their thing. You know, the Carolinas, we get a lot more hounds and hunting dogs that are just disposed of and tied to trees in the woods. So you kind of learn, you know, what you're getting with each state. But let me tell you, Arkansas is in need of desperate help. They're in tough shape.
And so when you look at the end result, this trickle of the moms and babies and the individual dogs who are able to make it to your doorstep and to freedom, safety, happiness, that's obviously a tiny drop compared to the massive amounts. What do you feel the rest of us can do, or is it pointless to think that you can help another state in terms of what? Is it the funding that's lacking, the lack of motivation of local politicians? Does politics have nothing to do with it?
So, yeah, I think it's all relative. So with us being in Rhode Island, obviously we're doing what we feel we can do, which is to help on our end. So our goal as the Hotel for Homeless Dogs, and part of the reason why we morphed into this new brand, is because we want to start with at least a secondary location. And we're hoping to go to Florida, which is another state.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's our vision, and that's our goal, is to we need to open a larger facility here in Rhode Island, which will be our hub, which we're hoping to open within the next 18 months.
Wow.
We'd like to triple our size.
You have big ambitions and people that help you realize them. I mean, if during COVID you and two other people built the darn place or fixed it and made it into a hotel, you obviously have no problem rolling up your sleeves personally.
Oh, I love to roll up my sleeves. It's one of my favorite places to be is right in the mix of it. But at the end of the day, I'm better served at the other side of the laptop. So I have to kind of pick my poison. But Yeah, I love it all, to be honest. You know, the vision of the hotel, it was every day I would walk in, and I was so blessed to have it with my husband, John, and a dear friend of mine named Peter. And Peter is gifted in the world of construction. He can do absolutely anything.
Lucky.
And he volunteered endless hours. He's still there. He's there today, helping me fix a broken door. I use the word blessed a lot, but I can't underscore it enough. I really am a very blessed person, and that allows me to do what I do, knowing that I have it's the roots. I have just such a very strong team around me, and every day they just push me to be better and to do more. We have more volunteers some days than we have dogs. Like, we have a 200-person volunteer team.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just dog walking. That's all our volunteer team does, is they only walk the dogs at the facility. They show up, rain, heat, ice, you name it, thunderstorms. They grab a dog on a leash and they walk, and we get every dog out every shift.
Nice.
Both, twice a day. So we need to grow, because we can say people want to adopt from us. People want to volunteer for us. So we know we're in a very unique place, and we have to grow, and the time is now. So we're kind of under the gun with that, but it always works itself out. And we'd like to have a secondary facility in Florida, and that facility would also take on, as you mentioned, what do you do in these other states?
That's
and for
great.
me, it would be a matter of opening some low-cost veterinary clinics to get dogs in the South spay neutered, and start to me, a big piece to the puzzle that we're all missing is education.
Absolutely.
We need to educate our children so that we end the cycle. And that's, I think, a big piece that we need to start in other states and we need to educate our politicians, but we need to educate our youth, because our youth is the future. And if we can stop this cycle now, then states like Arkansas 10 years from now will look so different.
It's definitely true. And a motivated child. I mean, I had Roman McCann on recently, the 10-year-old who was, as a little baby in a car seat, a little barely verbal person in a car seat, I think he was 4 years old, had gone, his mom was volunteering at a shelter, and he burst out crying when he found all these dogs were in this place and couldn't get out. I mean, children are very empathetic and very open, and they can change the world. I mean, if they can talk their parents out of smoking cigarettes, they can certainly talk their parents into giving, $5 to the local spay-neuter clinic, or taking their dog, or whatever it takes. Kids are very persuasive. I think you're right.
They are.
I think you're right.
We have Girl Scout troops that come through all the time. And about 6 months in, I said to myself, I'm missing something here. Because while they come in and they think it's beautiful and they see all these dogs happy, they don't get it. They don't understand.
Right.
So I actually just finished doing I created a coloring book. And it basically completely outlays the story from where they start in the South on a chain.
Nice.
To their life going home from the hotel, so that these children can take this book home and say to their parents, like, what does this mean? Because believe it or not, even in Rhode Island, there are a lot of people who have no idea what is going on in our own country. So the book was meant for the children, but we hope that they read it to the parents. And so that's something that we're actually rolling out this month as well, to even educate the children here in our own state. It's
wonderful. And the ripple effect is there. And social media gives you even more of a ripple effect, as we all know. It's great. Yeah. I mean, I think more people could do GoFundMes for something that has a positive social effect than other people's, wedding trip or something. I'm always amazed by the things that strangers will give money for to other people, but that they'll all give it for animals, as long as they know that it's going to go directly to doing the work. And someone like you, who already has been running this for a long time and is a nonprofit, and you have a vision, you have a plan. And it's, as you said, you either can be in the trenches, which you love, or you can be at the other end of a computer and reach a lot of people in a powerful way. How do you open a shelter in another state? Do you have one of your volunteers, or more than one, who already lives there, wherever there is, there in Florida? Or how do you can't run it long distance, I don't imagine, or maybe you can.
I toy with that myself, and I guess we won't know until I throw it out there. But being who I am, I know I won't be able to give up control of either facility. The nice thing about I just know that already. I'd love to tell you like, oh, I'll hire someone, but that's not reality. It's my baby. When I walk through that building, I love it. I feel great there. I want other people to feel great there. And that's just not a baton that I'm ready or willing to hand off at this moment. So the goal would be for me to be able to run both facilities and have great support teams on both ends.
Right.
My daughter is 19. She's going to be 20. She is the animal care manager at the facility in Rhode Island.
Wow.
And she's amazing. And I only have really 3 staff members that work in the facility, and they're all college students.
Isn't that great?
It's amazing. I love it. I love it. They're 18, 19, and 20, and they run the entire operation inside the building.
So you're reaching the next generation in various ways, because it's one thing to reach a Girl Scout or a 6-year-old, but when you have women on the brink of adulthood and they've found something that is inspiring and fulfilling for them, yeah, I can see this is gonna work, Susan. I see a lot of success in your future. And too late probably for you to have more children. To be great. You could just have all these shelters everywhere and have a Joseph child running it. Oh, well, never mind. I'm thinking too big. We have run out of time. I think what you're doing is amazing. The 5-star hotel for homeless dogs and cats and kittens is in Cumberland, Rhode Island. It was the New England Humane Society, and that's its new name. And Susan Joseph is making big things happen. Thank you for being here, Susan.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.